Hello, everyone. My name is Raymond McLeod. You can call me Coach Ray. I spent 4 years playing high school basketball, with 3 of those years being on varsity. Also had a college career playing basketball of 5 years, with 1 year being at Penn State Harrisburg, 2 years being at College of Southern Maryland, which my sophomore season at College of Southern Maryland, we ended up winning a regional championship and going on to nationals, and then transitioning that from Maryland to Florida, ended up going to which formerly known as Florida Christian College. I attended Johnson University, Florida, where we won in my senior season a regional championship and went on to place in the national championship. With it being COVID, we had to come back home. And we didn't get an opportunity to compete, but it was an extremely great experience throughout my college career, being able to grow. A professional experience that I want to share with you guys is I spent 2 years working with the Orlando Boom professional women's basketball organization in Orlando, Florida. During this time here, I had the opportunity to learn from some of the best and learn how we approach the game of basketball from a totally different frequency. At the age of 22, I was able to be a part of a great coaching staff and win a national championship in Kansas, Missouri. So shout out to everyone there on that team and coaching staff there. I also was able to experience one season with the NBA G League at the Orlando Bubble. And during this time, as a strategic analysis, I was able to really understand the details of the game of basketball from a production standpoint as well as on the court. And I understood that teams that had the ability to make those adjustments on the fly, coaches who are all on board, players who are all on board, were really being able to pull together a championship. And seeing during that season there, the Orlando Magic, the Lakeland Magic, NBA G League team was able to pull away a championship. So I was able to kind of see that process unfold with several games, being able to see players like Jalen Green, Isaiah Thomas, so many others, even some that have won championships right now, Kaminga, and also Gary Payton Jr. I can't forget that as well. But also too, this past year, I had that luxury and opportunity to be with Kaiser University, Florida. And during this time, I was able to do game day operations, studying as a graduate assistant on a full scholarship. So it was a big jump for me, being able to now be a part of operations and be a part of great NAIA games and be able to see the game of basketball really from a hands-on approach from the women's and also the men's level, and seeing how coaches made adjustments, seeing how organizations were operated and ran. This really propelled me to get back into the coaching realm and kind of transition my career as well. And one tournament that we were able to host that was really big here in West Palm Beach, Florida, was the West Palm Beach Invitational. And this included teams such as Clemson, Florida Gulf Coast, LSU, Ole Miss, West Virginia, and also Michigan State. And with that being said, I was able to see how, from a Division I aspect, how coaches operated and teams operated to really produce and win basketball games. And from a strategic analysis standpoint, I don't like to just call myself a basketball coach because I feel like that is so broad, being the details in the professional world. But as a strategic analysis, I love to break down film and also take notes within the game to be able to help our team be successful. And one thing that really stood out with me coaching and my coaching staff that I worked with was just the roles that everyone played. As a coaching staff, everyone had their particular role delegated to them, to where in the game we're actually studying the game and outsmarting the other coaching staff, as it's always a battle between the coaches and also the players as well. But from an organizational standpoint too, just being able to hold ourselves to a very high professional level, both at the Orlando Boom and Kaiser University, to be able to produce a championship team and a championship outcome. Also in my master's career, I developed the trilogy for a successful basketball organization, for a successful basketball program, where I took the elements from different coaches, even a coach that really stood out to me and one I idolized, Tubby Smith. He graduated from Great Mills High School, which I also am an alma mater from as well, but also from different coaches and different perspectives, different organizations, kind of putting together a trilogy of really what makes a great organization here. But my purpose for this particular video today is just to introduce myself, but also from a technical standpoint, kind of break down some game film within some details. Today, I'll be breaking down game film from two great schools here in Florida, Calvary Christian Academy, and also North Broward Prep. So I'll be breaking down just some key factors just within that game there as well. It came down to the wire. It was a 2-point game. I'm just going to share with you a little bit of insight and a little bit of adjustments that could have been made between players or potentially coaching staff, just to kind of give you a broader perspective on my abilities and expertise as a coach. So I want to say thank you for watching and continue to tune in, and you'll be in for a good one. All right, so let's get things started here today. Right now, we are in tip-off. Tip-off is a very important part of the game. It determines who's going to get the ball to start the game. It determines who has the power balance here to get the game started. You can't have the ball if you don't score, so you need the ball. So as we get started here, I just want to point a few things out here, and this can easily be worked out in practice just so players have a little bit of awareness, just so you have an idea of going from jump ball to a defensive set. Now, probably in the scout, they were saying like this guy, number one, can jump incredibly high. He's very athletic. We may not win the jump. But at the same time, it's really important that players, which I like to teach, to box out during this particular opportunity. Just a slight box out to gain the advantage, because we might get possession and we can go the other way. I want to point out just two key things here, kind of three things here. One, you have this gentleman right here, number 30. We're going to see in this particular clip, he's going to get a little confused, right? He's going to come down to this side. He's going to try to figure out, talk to his team, what's going on, and he's going to come back here. But really, number 30, from a North Broward Prep perspective, has the advantage if we do win the tip. And now we can go the other way with the one-on-one matchup here, because this gentleman is so far out. Now, I'm thinking because this might be a big, he looks pretty tall. I'm thinking this is a big, maybe a small forward, a power forward, if that. But if he's a big, he's more in a defensive to say, hey, I got everything by myself. I'm going to guard the basket. So from observing this, if he tips the ball back, this particular person here is going to have the control of the basket. These two guys look like maybe point guard, shooting guard-ish here. So it looks like maybe he might receive the tip or he might receive the tip, depending on the structure of this. But right now, defensively, North Broward Prep is in a 2-man back and then 3-man here in the mid. So check this out. So 30, as I said, he's ready to go. He's talking. He's like, man, we're going to play defense anyway. He gets back here, kind of confused. Tell him goes back here to the top. Right? This kid right here, this is something I want to point out. This kid here in the back, on the backside here, on this volleyball line, this particular kid here, what I would have liked to see, just especially within the tip, is this kid here closer a little bit to this guy here, right? Because if the ball goes here, we're just giving this kid the basketball. Now we're giving an opportunity to kind of gain a little bit of leverage to say if the ball's in the air, we might have an opportunity to get it. But of course, not too close to draw a foul or intentionally hack this particular person, but just to get a little bit closer. Same thing with this guard here. It'll be a little bit better since there's nobody obtaining this space back here to kind of get in a little bit, just to have an opportunity to box out if the ball goes that way. It just makes it a little bit tougher for the opponent here. But check this out. In the tip, because we're playing defensive, looks what like watch what happens here. Ball goes up, boom. He's ready to start his offense right away, number 5. So let's count the passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 passes to start the offense. Now I'm thinking there may not be a shot clock in high school basketball, but I believe there are possession rules as well when it comes to spacing. I believe there's like, you can get like maybe a 5-second, 8-second count, something like that. But I understand within the 2-3 zone, if you're Calvary Christian Academy, that it's good to get the ball in the middle. We want to attract the defense in the middle to be able to gain leverage, right? If you get it in the middle, you have an opportunity to A, get this guy running baseline, B, get this guy on the curl in, or C, kick it back out to the defender here, or the shooter here, the three-point shooter here. But look what he does. He catches the ball, he pumps. The defender doesn't go anywhere. It would have been different if this defender closed out here to give him a little bit more space, but right now he's getting double teamed. And if he does take one more dribble, he's going to be triple teamed in the paint. So this right here, I would teach guys to, if you're playing against a 2-3 zone, which would make Calvary Christian a lot better if you space the floor. Continue to space the floor and take advantage of the mismatch here in the middle. Once you have this big guy moving from block to block, elbow to elbow, kind of outside of the paint, outside of his designated area, that's when you start to open up holes here in the defense. So check this out. So now he goes in for the shot because he feels as though he can. He's trying to get buckets. The crowd is there. Game jitters. He's ready to go. But really, he has this guy sitting here wide open. Even this guy here is beat with his back to this defender. He's wide open. So even just a small dish right here, or even maybe an alley-oop lob, that would have got the game started right away. The reason why North Broward Prep went into the 2-3 zone is because two things, right? Calvary Christian Academy is very athletic and can rebound the basketball. They have the guys that can potentially run the floor really well, box out, and of course, play above the rim. That's something that they do incredibly well. So being in this 2-3 zone, as you see here, allows North Broward Prep to be able to rebound the basketball, right? Rebound the basketball and get in transition. One thing that I noticed from Calvary Christian Academy, of course, what you have to do when you're playing against teams that want to make you miss is to figure out how to space that 2-3 zone, attack the middle gaps, attack sides to create openings, right? One thing that I want to share that Don Showalters taught me, USA Basketball, I had to wear the shirt, but Don Showalters taught me that offense is about space, right? You want to create as much space as possible. And I feel as though in this particular possession, North Broward Prep create incredible space. Check this out. So they're swinging, they're at the top of the key, they're starting their offense high. Calvary Christian is closing out. They're creating a space, they're getting it across court. Ball is moving from east to west, which is great. It's still left. The defense hasn't had the opportunity to really shift. The ball is still left. It's still left. Defense shift a little bit, but boom. He's sending this guy down here with 3 defenders, right? Now, having that ball stand on that left side, that's why it's important to get the ball from left to right to make sure that we're making the defense really work. Here, you're passing the ball into the help, right? And now that's off the glass. And now we're looking for the refs to bail us out. Goes up. They're back in transition. They're swinging. Back in 2-3 zone. Boom. The key to breaking that 2-3 zone, I imagine the coaches may have said in the coaches meeting or in the huddle before the game, guys, if they're playing 2-3, we got to attack the middle, right? Attack the middle doesn't mean always pass the ball directly to the middle. It means space the floor and see if we can get by this first guy, set a screen, and attack this gentleman here, right? We don't have to pass for these 2 guys. But what happens as North Broward Prep gets the ball, their strategy is working. They're off in transition. Boom, there's the dunk. The crowd is on their side. It's going crazy in the gym. That's the energy and the atmosphere that North Broward Prep is looking to really create here. Calvary Christian is swinging the ball. All right, because of lack of ball movement, like Calvary Christian Academy, right? They're able to swarm in defense. As I mentioned, Don Walters taught me about offense, but he did teach me about defense as well. And defense is X because defense, you're trying to decrease the space to be able to cause those turnovers. And that's something you really have to look for what's going wrong because we're not swinging the ball enough. We're not attacking enough off the dribble drive. Another turnover. Back in transition. Wide open shot, right? So I looked at this possession several times, and I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to let it play through, right? This gentleman, he gets screened. And transition. All right, this is for Calvary Christian Academy. So 4 get screened, right? So in that, potentially could be switch everything. That could be the scout. We can guard everybody on the floor. We're athletic, we're fast. What 4 has to do if he gets screened like that, he has to get under and get his back to the glass. There are several possessions where he's, of course, getting screened, he's running back, and he's not having his back to the glass right here. Even though he is screened, he's going to have to drop back or either switch to be able to now cause a equilibrium here. But you see how North Broward Prep, he comes off this screen and he gets space. Anytime the screen is facing down, this guy can potentially be a roll guy straight to the glass. And as high school kids say, it's on his head. He cuts through, he's wide open. He fakes the pump fake, and now he's left wide open for the shot. And it's a knockdown. This is his home gym. He's probably putting up hundreds of shots every night. I can understand how that is. The coach is getting everyone involved. That's great. So they're swinging here. They're swinging. They're swinging. See that stagnation, right? And the fluidity of the offense, you want to get fluid, especially when you're playing against a zone. And it's not just passing the ball around here. It's attacking the gaps and figuring out while they're so busy staring at the ball, kind of taking advantage of this open space. The lower your offensive guys here are, the further the defenders on the corner have to look back and find their heads, right? He's pointing back here, right? Ball goes up. And now since we're playing 2-3 zone and they forced a bad shot with no shot clock, now we're in a situation for North Broward Prep. We're able to rebound and get in transition. Coach is calling a play. They're taking their time. And look how much space they're playing. They're up here by the volleyball line. They're really playing in a lot of great space. That's one thing that is a potential weakness when a team is playing this pressure zone against teams like this, because once you give this team so much space, it opens up a lot of driving lanes. Looks like they're in a small flex action here, off the glass, ready to go. So everybody's excited, still in the 2-3 zone. They're talking. Got to box out. Got to box out. But that was also a great offensive putback here by Calvary Christian Academy. All right, playing in space, playing in space. One thing that I want to see defensively from Calvary Christian Academy is the hands up, the arms up, everybody locked in on defense, right? Just because we're more athletic, just because we're better than this team, doesn't mean that this team will just give us the win. We have to make sure that we're playing at high volume, athletic, with our backs against the basket in defensive position. Just because you're in defensive position, it lets the offense know that you're playing defense, right? Shot goes up, cashed out. This is home gym. He's going to get buckets there. All right, Calvary Christian Academy. They're swinging. They're swinging. This gentleman here, number 4, he's wide open. But what he doesn't understand is North Broward Prep is playing the basketball. They're locked in, right? They're playing the basketball. Everyone's here focusing on this side here. But once you see that they have their backs turned, that's when you drive, make sure you get everyone to attack, and then kick out to the open man. All right, good pass there. Traveling violation. Oh, it looks like there was a foul. Foul. Okay. Another 4 shot. And warm-ups, one thing that I seen was very beneficial from Calvary Christian Academy in warm-ups. Calvary Christian Academy shot a lot of 3-pointers. Their goal, of course, this new era of basketball, Steph Curry, we want to knock down threes. We want to make sure it's good to go. It's great to shoot threes. Threes are more than twos, but at the same time, we have to make sure that we're in position. And as if you look here, both of North Broward Prep, both guys are boxing out this guy right here, right? This guy's helping him box him out. So crazy, it's like a sandwich, right? This guy, he's eye on the basketball. If it was college, close out, hand up, turn around, box out. Not to foul and bump into him, but turn around just to make sure you have leverage where his body is. This guy's completely boxing him out into the bleachers. This guy got a full box out here as well. Let's see where the ball goes. Right to the guard. Another wide open shot. Missed it. That's okay there. Now we're in transition. One thing about Calvary Christian Academy, what I would like to see a little bit more in this particular game, especially early on in the first quarter, is when North Broward Prep did miss shots to get that ball straight in transition. So number 4, he understands that he has to attack, right? But plays such as that, see this gentleman here, he's wide open, hands up, behind the air. It's good to get a good rotation and good passing and good movement so you avoid mistakes like this. All right, now you're fighting for the rebound. You're forcing it. It's not good basketball. But at the same time, from a coaching perspective, what I like to do in these particular situations is taking notes on what's going on in the game, player tendencies, how are they responding, and what ways we can really overcome. All right, so back on offense. I love how they're playing in space above the 3-point line. Ball goes up. Didn't box out, but we're back on D. We got 4 back, 1 rebounding, which is pretty good. All right, so this is going to be one of the keys for Calvary Christian Academy, and I wish I was here to make one of these adjustments. Number 4 understands he likes to score. He kind of reminds me of a 2 guard, right? Even though offensively, this would have been the best pass. 5 is wide open. Now, if 5 is on the scout and he's not a shooter and he doesn't shoot threes, okay, I can understand that. But look, we need a bucket. So he screens through, steps in, off the glass. But this guy here, we have to make this big man active, want to block shots, want to work. Why? Because this guy, these 2 guys are just watching the basketball. A simple draw in and drop down can really open up a 2-3 zone and have a coach want to go man, or you're down so much that you got to switch up and change up and go man. But I like how he's attacking here early on in the game just to get the offense and fluidity. Good bucket. And he knows he can score that, number 4. If you're North Broward Prep in this situation here, of course, you really want to play slow. You want to keep the game within the low 50s, in the low 40s, just to take time off the clock and make Calvary Christian Academy play defense. If you're Calvary Christian Academy, you want to make sure that you put a lot of pressure and force turnovers, right? And you'll see later in the film that they turned up the trap, start forcing turnovers and getting in transition and making the crowd sing. All right, transition. There we go. Boom, on his head. That's crazy. All right. So now as a point guard, you got to set up the offense and you got to get some things moving here. Got to get some things moving. Broken possession. Luckily, it was out of bounds. But as a point guard, you got to make sure that you're calling plays and getting things orchestrated, especially when they're playing man-to-man. Man-to-man is one of the easiest defenses to call any play. So you can pretty much do anything during the man-to-man, pass and cut, top of the key swing. There's all types of plays for man-to-man. Got to call something. But he gets a good bucket there and makes it up. So now they're back in their 2-3 zone. All right, so the coach tells him to stay back, which in this situation is great because right now North Broward Prep has the leverage. They have the leverage right now over Calvary Christian Academy. They're winning. So if they hold the ball, it's in their favor. Time is precious in the game of basketball. All right, so 4, you want to attack. You want to attack, but at the same time, you want to attack and make some forward progress. You just scored off a bucket here. So when you're attacking these guards, 1, 2, 3, you want to make sure that this guy right here has to make a decision. This right here is perfect. This guy's guarding here. He has to drop a little bit deeper, and this guy got to get deeper too because he's guarding him. But he runs through, and he had leverage right here as well. This guy's coming through. Cutting through the defense. Good shot. And those are the shots you want to give up when it comes from a defensive standpoint, but offensively, that was a great shot. So it's high intensity. Their hands are down. Another shot. What I loved about this here, as I mentioned within playing offense, is to create space, right? So they're moving, they're orchestrating the basketball. Now my point guard is calling out a play. We got the structure going. He's wide open. He's driving, attacking the defense for a wide open shot. That's good basketball right there. How do we maintain that momentum is by discipline. As they say, pressure can sometimes bust pipes. So it's really important that playing pressure the right way, being disciplined to really get the right outcome. Right there, no help, playing too close up on the guy. Score is now tied here. This is one of the key parts of the game. Right? Dunk there. Another turnover. Might have been a travel, not sure. Timeout. Now about 4. So they got their points off turnovers, Calvary Christian Academy, which is really important to be able to convert when your team makes a mistake. Now we're back in transition, 1-2, and we're dunking it. This style that Calvary Christian Academy are bringing to the table kind of reminds me of a Warner University. Transition, fast, press team. That's unacceptable, number 4. You got to make that layup. And now they're up. They got the lead. Wide open. Missed that. But if you're going to shoot those threes, what's important is rebound. You have to make sure that we still have a body on them to be able to rebound if we're going to be shooting the threes. There's several moments here in the game where within this third quarter alone, we started shooting threes for North Broward Prep and just not knocking them down and not getting any offensive rebounds by that. See, we still got to stick to the concepts of boxing out. Early in the game, they did. That's why they had the lead, and now they're losing possessions for not boxing out. So we don't have to force it in man-to-man, right? In this, it feels like they don't know what to do. Take your time, space the floor, run the play, get good execution. Shots like this are not good because there's nobody down here to rebound, and you have to make them. And if not, you're going the other way. All right. So I want to go back to this block here. So I want to talk about possessions and how important possessions are. And at the college level, we look for guys that are able to come in and take control of the possession. You know, college, you have a shot clock, a limited time. You want to make sure you're doing it the right way. So yes, you have the zone spaced out. The middle of the floor is not guarding anybody. He goes straight in, no passes, and gets blocked, right? And all these three guys, even four, sitting around the arc, wide open. But the best part about it is it's another possession on to the next play. But in crucial games, you got to recognize those things early on, especially in the offense. So the third quarter, obviously, you'll see here, Calvary Christian Academy wants to get in that transition, wants to get the ball going, wants to get buckets early on. But the discipline that they show later on in the game really takes the game to another level, right? Another offensive rebound off the glass. All right, so what I really like here in the fourth quarter is they're holding the basketball. They're holding the basketball to make them come out of the 2-3 zone, right? They don't know what to do because they know they're really good at playing this 2-3, and that's how they were able to get the lead, playing it more disciplined. But at the same time, these two guys are going to play patty cake back and forth, which are forcing North Broward Prep to play man-to-man. But what I would recommend in this particular situation is man-to-man with those same zone principles, right? We're going to give a little bit of space and stay in the passing lane so they don't make these lollipop passes back and forth. But at the end of the day, we're still going to stick to our zone principles, switch everything, and play below the basketball. See, now they're man-to-man. And that's what Calvary Christian Academy wants because they know they can beat them directly man-to-man one-on-one. These same key elements, as a coach, you want to understand why you're frustrated or why you're upset, why things happen certain ways. And that's why it's important in the game to be able to document what you see and what you say to be able to make those adjustments so players don't make the same mistakes the next time. But one thing that I really do love about high school basketball, and even just the energy here as well, is the opportunity to really mentor the youth, the opportunity to give back and teach kids the game of basketball at a higher level that they may not receive otherwise, but also just to be able to enjoy the game and to be able to teach kids the right way to help them get to that next level, especially once their minds will be thinking from a college for professional type of standpoint when it comes to sports. But I really enjoy the game, and I enjoy being able to be a strategic analysis, to be able to help coaches, to help teams gain that competitive advantage. And it will be an honor and a great blessing to have the opportunity to interview with your school here as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for just watching the film here today. And I hope we were able to learn a few things, just some key tips and tricks when it comes to observing the game and in game to help overall.